Colin and Katie.
Today, I'm going to be making some cinnamon rolls.
They are absolutely delicious, and as you're watching this recipe, please know that in the description box below, we do have a link to the detailed recipe. That way, you don't have to worry about writing things down. We've got it all written down for you and available through that recipe link. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
To start, I'm going to add 1 1/3 cups of warm water. I put this in the microwave for 1 minute, but it needs to be between 90 and 115 degrees. Next, I'm going to add 5 teaspoons of sugar. And to that, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of yeast. This is instant yeast. Stir it in, and I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. Look at all the carbon dioxide bubbles. I will add some oil, 1 tablespoon of oil. And next, I'll be adding 3 1/2 cups of bread flour. And finally, I'm going to sprinkle on top 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. And now I'm going to mix this together. I'll start this on low until things have started to mix in together. And in about 30 seconds to a minute, I'll turn it on the next higher level speed, and I will set it for 8 minutes. The dough is perfect this time. It's not sticky. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. If it sticks on the side of the bowl or the bottom of the bowl, you just add 1 teaspoon of flour and let it knead it a little bit more, and then you may need to add a little bit more until it's like this. I just took the dough out of the mixer, and now I'm going to shape it into a loaf form so it can go in for its first rise. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to kind of fold it in like this. Shape it into have a loaf shape. I'm going to put it on the cookie sheet, and we'll let it rise for 20 minutes in my warm oven. I'm ready to put the dough in the oven. I'm going to warm the oven up just a little bit by turning it on to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for less than a minute. And during that time, I'm going to take this dampened towel and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds to get it warm. I just took the towel out of the oven. I'm going to put it on the dough ball here. And I'm going to turn the oven off. It's been less than a minute. At least it's a little bit warm. And I'm going to put this in the oven, and I'm going to leave the oven light on. I will let the dough rise for 20 minutes. I'm ready to make the center part. This is what I'll be putting together. I've got a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. So I'm gonna place it in the bowl here. And to that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. This keeps the cinnamon sugar from running out. Kind of thickens it up, really helps a lot. And then 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. So I'm going to mix these up real well together. And this is what I'll sprinkle inside or on top of the dough to be the inside. Okay, I finished mixing the mixture that will go on top of the dough when I take it out after the first rise. And to let it stick on there, I have 3 tablespoons of butter, and I'll melt that slightly so I can paint it on, and it's going to act like the glue that's going to hold this on. It's an 11.5 by 15.5 pan. You can use whatever you have. It doesn't have to have the tall sides on it, but this is what I use. And I like to use butter. Anytime I take a stick of butter and I take the paper off of it, it has a lot of oil on it, so I use them to coat my pans. It does a very thin coat. It does an excellent job. I just took the dough out of the oven after the first rise. Let's look at it. It's about doubled in size, and so now it's ready to shape. So I'm going to take it off of this and put it on the counter. I floured the surface and just took it off the pan. Now I'm going to flour the top. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to press and get as many of the air bubbles out as I can. And while I'm shaping it, those bubbles are going to be coming out. I like to stretch the dough like this, and sometimes I just kind of pick it up and stretch it like this to kind of to get everything moving in it. I'll place it down here and I'll shape it. And there's nothing wrong with you getting a rolling pin and rolling it out, so you're welcome to do that too. In fact, let me get my rolling pin. Okay, so you just roll it out if you want to. Okay, I'm shaping it up, and it is 16 inches in this direction here, and then 12 inches this direction. I'm ready to put the butter and the cinnamon sugar mixture on the dough. So I've melted the butter, just barely melted, and I'm going to dampen the top of the dough with it. So I'm just going to brush it on. And this is going to be like glue. It's going to hold everything together. It'll take between 2 and 3 tablespoons to coat this. And now I'm going to, with my fingers, I'm going to take the cinnamon sugar mixture and I'm going to sprinkle it all around. I'm going to stop about 1 inch or 1/2 inch from the edge. Otherwise it may leak out pretty much. So I'm going to not go all the way to the end. I'm going to spread it out with my hands. I'm going to pat it in. Now I'm going to roll the dough to make the cinnamon rolls. To do that, I will start pushing the dough over. I'm starting the roll. And I'm just going through here like this, get it started. As you go, it gets a little bit easier to go. Okay, so there's the roll. I'm going to kind of squeeze in where it's connected here to kind of seal it a little bit. So underneath here, I'm trying to put my fingers like this to pull it up. I'm going to pinch the edges to seal it. And then I'm going to roll it a little bit. And there we go. We've got the roll that I'm going to be cutting. Now you want it to be the same size pretty much all the way down. So at this point, feel free to extend the roll and to kind of manipulate it just a little bit. The end pieces, I always use those as the extra pieces. Like when I cut right here, it doesn't have anything much in it. So I'll show you what I'll do in just a little bit with it. But I'm gonna cut each one of these in 1 inch cinnamon rolls. So I'm gonna cut it like this, and I'll place them in here. Now these will expand and they'll rise. I'm gonna fill the pan with these 1 to 1.5 inch cinnamon rolls. I'm using a very sharp knife to do it. The cinnamon rolls are ready to be placed in the oven for the second rise. I'm going to use the same technique. I'll put it in a warm oven. I'll put a warm, dampened towel on top and let it sit for 20 minutes. And now I'm going to make the all-important icing to go on the cinnamon rolls. To do that, I've softened 1 package or 8 ounces of cream cheese. And to that, I've got some softened butter. I use the rest of the butter. So I use 3 tablespoons to brush on the dough. And the remainder I put in here. So I use a total of 1 stick in this recipe, or 1/4 pound, and this is 1 tablespoon of vanilla flavoring. And finally, I'm going to mix in 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. I'm just going to put a little bit in there now, about half of it. And I'm going to mix it in. I'll put the remainder. I used the whisk to get all the lumps out, and now it's smooth. I just pulled the cinnamon rolls out of the oven after the second rise. Let's look at them. See, they basically expanded to fill in the gaps that I had, and they'll expand some more when I put them in the oven. The oven is preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I had the end pieces, and I always do a little bonus with the end pieces because they don't have much cinnamon on them. And so I just kind of put cinnamon sugar on top of them. So we'll see how they do. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm going to put the cinnamon rolls in the oven. I'll bake them for 20 minutes. But at the end of 20 minutes, if they have not started turning brown, you can add another 5 minutes. I just pulled the cinnamon rolls out of the oven and I baked them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. While the cinnamon rolls are hot, I'm gonna go ahead and ice them. I'll be putting a blob of icing on top of them, and I'll come back and I'll smooth it in. Right now I'm just kind of putting the icing on them. Kind of a dollop on each one. I finished spreading the icing all around. They're all coated. They look delicious.
Now it's time for the taste test, and look at this absolutely beautiful cinnamon roll. I cannot wait to try this. It's nice and warm. So I'm gonna try it with a fork and see what happens. I might just have to take a big bite out of it if the fork struggles. We shall see. Oh my goodness. Look at this. If you can see how each part can pull apart. Oh my goodness. This is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. So now let's see if it tastes as beautiful. Wow. This is absolutely fantastic. The icing pairs perfectly with the dough, and then the cinnamon mixture on the inside is just the right amount. This is excellent. I'm gonna keep on eating this, but definitely be sure to try this recipe, feed it to your family and friends, and let us know what you think. It is excellent. 2 thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed watching today's video, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, comment below, and if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you're updated on all of our new videos. And we will see you with our next one. See ya.